and the Pistons
points.
The Pistons also beat Golden State, so that's the other team that they lost to.
They also haven't beaten anybody either. I mean, I guess Portland.
Jazz is a good defensive team.
Yeah, but Lakers stink, Suns stink, and they had to beat the Blazers on a game-winning shot. I'm putting them 3 because they do look good, but they are going to have to do more. And playing Dallas tomorrow night does not count as a key win this season. But they're my third. Who do you got?
So I got the Memphis Grizzlies number 3. I think my list is so far looking like everything that you have. I just have one notch down, and then I have Boston number 1.
Yeah,
because that's how it's going right now. Memphis at 3 for me. They have looked really, really good at the beginning of the season. I just have doubts of how good they actually are. And they've beaten good teams, but, it's good teams early in the season when some of these good teams have a lot of new players trying not new systems necessarily, but trying to figure things out. So we'll see about the Grizzlies. I have them at number 3, and then number 4 I have the Clippers for the same reasons as you. They started off really, really good. They haven't really, like you said, beaten anyone of good, great significance. I think their best one would probably be the Jazz.
Yeah,
probably, and
it has to be.
They've looked really, really good. Other than last night, where the Golden State Warriors scored 141 points on them, they've looked really, really good defensively to me.
Yep, Patrick Beverley looks great. We've talked about him before.
And DeAndre Jordan's a good defender, no matter what people say about his offense. But.
Absolutely. Number 4, I have Houston. They look like they did last year, honestly. I mean, with with Chris Paul not really been available and James Harden kind of just running the show, he looks fantastic.
But I have my doubts about Houston.
All right, let me hear
yours. I divulged into the advanced stats of Eric Gordon. He's not as impressive as we thought.
Okay.
He's hardly shooting 30% from 3. Is that a shock?
They had one really bad game. Where they all shot terribly.
So, but I don't know how this was last year, but Eric Gordon's right now taking 13 threes a game. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
And he's barely shooting over 40% from the field. He's been really, really good scoring, but it just hasn't been efficient. And that team's really going to be good on offense. But see, Eric Gordon took 16 3-pointers.
Yeah, that's just the game that we're looking at is where he hit the game-winning shot.
Yeah, he did hit the game-winning shot.
But he was 5 of 16 from 3. I'm pretty sure
7 of 20 though.
That's going to skew his numbers down for the whole season. So I think he's okay. I'm honestly not overly worried.
But if you look at his game by game, that's what all his 3-pointer, all of his games look like is 5 for 16. 5 for 14, 6 for 16, 5 for 16, 5 for 15. Man,
he is shooting a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you look at his points per game, you're like, wow, Eric Gordon's averaging 25 points per game. That's pretty good. But then you look at his advanced stuff, his field goal percentage is barely over 40. His 3-point percentage is barely over 30. Barely. 3.30 or 302 average. And it just... Yeah, he's scoring a lot, but he's also taking a lot of shots.
Yes, he is. I really don't think it's that big of a deal.
But
when I know you want a higher shooting percentage, but when you're scoring,
I just saw that.
I think it's okay.
I just saw that. James Harden's still good. He's also having a bad shooting year so far, but again, it's 7 games this season. I have them a little lower on my list just because they lost to Philly, which kind of pisses me off because I want Philly to be bad, so I can be right.
That's how I feel about Philly and the Lakers.
And then they lost to Memphis twice, which you would think, again, I want to be right, and I want Memphis to be bad.
Yeah.
So, and Memphis can't really score points, so you'd think they'd just be able to outscore them. But both times they've played them, they've only scored 90.
Well, I don't know. Memphis has scored a decent amount so far this year. They're having 101 points a game. I feel like that's the highest they've ever had. Anyway, go ahead and keep going.
But in a season like this season, if you look at those points per game, everyone is higher than them still.
It's still early,
yeah.
And they're playing great defense, but they still scored over 100 points. I'll take that.
Utah Jazz and San Antonio Spurs are people see lower than them on points per game.
I told you Utah wasn't going to score.
I know, but they also
don't
play really
shut
good
anybody
defense.
down. Yeah. Go ahead.
What was number was that?
That was number 4 for me.
Okay, my number 4 is the Clippers. Like I said, everything
Yeah.
that you had, I think I just moved it down a little because I had Boston a lot higher than you did, apparently.
I have Boston at 5. I know that seems kind of low.
They look so good. And it's a team. And it just seems like they haven't missed a beat. They their first 2 games they stumbled a little bit, but then
I just don't think they're as good as the Western Conference teams. I know that sounds bad. I know they've looked good. I know it's power rankings, so it's like I have everything against me. But right now, Warriors, Grizzlies, Clippers, Rockets, I would take all 4 of them over the Celtics.
I don't know. They move the ball. It looks like an older San Antonio Spurs team.
It does, but
they just move the ball so well. Al Horford
they're not as good.
I know, but when you watch them play, they just play so well. And you have Marcus Smart off the bench, who's again had a really, really bad year so far shooting the ball, but he's kind of come on of late. And Jaylen Brown, such a young player that's been playing really, really well.
Jaylen Brown,
Jason Tatum, another young player. It just seems like, our old theory where Greg Popovich would grab people off the street and just plug them in, and they'd work fine. Might be Brad Stevens as well. He just grabs people. And,
Stevens does have a little young pop in him.
Yeah, I believe so much in his coaching, especially from the first 7 games of the season. Like, I was expecting them to be a lot worse than this coming out of the gate.
I think we both said that we thought it would stumble out of the gate.
Yeah. And they did, but only for the first 2 games, and then they've looked fine. Yeah. They've looked pretty good defensively, and they're scoring. They're not scoring as much as you think they would be, but they're scoring enough. And they're, like I said, they're playing really good defense. If you look at that board, they're one of the better opponents' point per game. We don't know about the pace or anything like that. We don't have those up there, but they look good to me. So yeah. I mean, again, it's 2 weeks in the season. Power rankings is really, really hard to judge because I had them at number 1. But and so my number 5 team, I have the Bucks.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
I think Giannis is great, but
but I think Giannis is for serious MVP candidate this year.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I think there's
100%.
no reason why he can't continue what he's doing.
Well,
he just doesn't seem like he tires.
When you're 7 feet tall, 22 years old, and can dunk from half court, that's usually pretty good sign.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose is the youngest MVP we've ever had to date. If Giannis were to win it this year, would he become the youngest? What year did Derrick Rose won it in his 3rd year in the league, correct?
Yeah, Derrick Rose. It ended up being by days because Derrick Rose was
22.
22.
And that's what Giannis is right now.
Yeah, I'd have to look up Giannis' birthday to know that information. Let's see what we got here. So Giannis will be 23 in December. So
that's crazy that Derrick Rose won it at 22 then.
Yeah, it really is.
But still, I mean...
Dude, you're putting me down memory lane.
I'm looking at the 2 Rose jerseys up there. But, Giannis has looked beyond phenomenal, and it's kind of scary because this last 2 games, he's just kind of started taking threes just to take them because people sag off so much, and he's actually been hitting them.
That's not going to continue.
I know, but that's kind of like... That's scary.
I know.
I
feel like that. But
the shots have looked good. It hasn't looked like a hitch in his shot or anything like that. It's just
he doesn't look like Markelle Fultz. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but he doesn't need that 3. He just needs to take it when they just to keep them honest a little bit, because he just needs a little bit of daylight, and he's right through. He's so long. His strides are so he goes from one end of the court to the other in 2 steps.
I think the funniest thing about him is, if you play on him, he'll blow by you. If you play off of him, he'll blow by you.
I know.
That's the stupid... If you give him any room, he's going to be at the basket.
He's got that one, that Euro step kind of thing, but his Euro step is so, he steps over to one side so much and then back over across the lane.
I know.
It's how do you even stop that?
And then he just sticks his arm up and just drops it in.
Yeah. He's got a 7'8" wingspan. How do you even... Okay, I have a question for you. More gifted physically, LeBron or Giannis?
I'm gonna take LeBron just because
physically, not
no mental, not even
just physically. I would say Giannis.
Okay, I mean
22 LeBron was gifted because he's 6'8" and stuff, but Giannis is all that, just 7 feet tall.
No, I agree.
I would say he's just as fast.
I guess I was thinking LeBron's,
LeBron was better at basketball younger.
Passing game and all that stuff.
LeBron was better at basketball at a younger age, but physically gifted, I think we've never seen anybody like Giannis.
No, we've never seen anything like this.
Like, this is probably the most physically gifted person we'll probably ever see in basketball.
I can get on board with that. So who do you have at 6?
Number 6, I have the Wizards.
Hey, I got the Wizards too.
Okay, number 6. We're agreeing on one thing. The Wizards looked really, really good. I did not like how they lost to L.A.
No, I didn't either. But I think there was so much talk coming into that game.
I know, but that's when John Wall has to show up.
I know, but I think they psyched themselves out. They just need to shut up and play. Sometimes,
but see, it wasn't even John Wall talking with Marcin Gortat.
Yeah,
but like John Wall needs to. If he's going to be that superstar, he needs to show up for those kind of games.
I know he does, but does he? Because it's not really that big of a game. I know it's the Lakers.
I know, but it's like, prove it. You want to be this MVP candidate and stuff. Just prove it to me. So when someone like says all this stuff about you, even if it wasn't you talking all that smack, just prove it. And he looked really, really passive throughout the entire first half of that game. He kind of picked up in the second half, but he just looked like he didn't want to. He didn't want it, like, at all in the first half.
Yeah, that's probably his biggest knock. But other than that, dude, I think he's been almost
really
perfect.
Yeah, he's been really good. I mean, he's John Wall. He's going to average 20 and 10.
Actually, you know who's looked really good for them is Otto Porter.
Otto Porter, he's looking like he deserves that money.
He somehow took a step up, which I honestly didn't think it was going to be possible. I feel like they paid him for like what he did last year, which was fine, and like now he's looking like a value sign.
He is a great defender and an even greater 3-point shooter,
which is really crazy.
Yeah.
It's funny because I thought he was going to be good coming out of college, and then he had like those first 2.
Yeah, so we had this whole thing like when you came out of college. I wanted Phoenix to draft him.
Yeah,
and I was like, if I wanted to draft anyone this draft class, I'd say Otto Porter because I just liked him.
We looked terrible for those first 2 years,
and we're like, oh man, yeah, Otto Porter was terrible. And then these last 2 years, he's kind of picked it up.
Yeah, he looks great. Number 7, I have the Orlando Magic, the powerhouse Orlando Magic.
See, I put them in my top 10 just to be like, okay, Orlando, you're in the top 10, but they're not my number 7. Like I can't.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
I can't buy in. It's only 7 games.
Is there a better power forward center combo right now than Aaron Gordon and Nikola Vucevic?
Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins.
Okay, other than them, anybody else playing better right now? I'm not saying there has to be better. I can't really. I mean, Millsap and Jokic are the only 2 I can think of.
Horford and Baines.
But even Millsap and Jokic aren't playing as well as Gordon and Vucevic are.
Jason Tatum and Horford.
No, stop. And don't say Embiid and Simmons either. Yeah. Simmons is a point guard.
Rudy Gay and Marcus Aldridge.
No. Your 2 least favorite players in basketball?
I know. I will not win that. I guess. Yeah,
dude,
I mean,
they look so good.
Who? Steven Adams, Carmelo Anthony.
No.
Why?
Right now?
Steven Adams looks really good.
Vucevic could be an MVP candidate right now.
Whatever. Shut up. No, he can't.
What are you talking about? No, he can't.
No, he can't. They're not going to win. First of all, I put him in my top 10 Orlando fans, so don't
That's all you get.
Don't kill me, but let's pump the brakes a little bit and see what happens.
Dude, look at Vucevic. 21 points. He's gone down a little bit. Okay. 21 points, 9 rebounds.
Yeah, that's an MVP candidate.
Aaron Gordon, 21 points, 9 rebounds. How about dual MVP candidates?
You can't. That's not a thing.
That'd be cool.
See, I'm looking at assist leader DJ Augustine, and I know this won't last. DJ Augustine is their starting point guard.
Well, until Peyton gets back.
Yeah, I know, but is that better or worse for them? Because then their starting point guard can't even shoot. So,
but Evan Fournier, he doesn't look like a scrub anymore.
Yeah, and Terrence Ross kind of has picked it up some of these games, and I don't know. If they're in the same position, if they're still winning games a month from now when we do this ranking again, I'll put them at number 4. 5.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to that.
But I just for a team that was so bad last year, I need to see more from them to convince me that it's not just a fluke.
I mean, they're terrible. I'm not going to deny it, but I still want to give them some love because they deserve it, even if it's only for 7 games.
I like Aaron Gordon. In that game that he had 41, I was like, yeah, let's go. But I mean, you have to show me more. If you cannot go from that bad to that good. Like, I mean, I guess you can, but
Hey, ask the Minnesota Twins if they can go from that bad to that good.
I mean,